Hello and welcome to Soul Love with Kimness. I am Kim van der Zande, your host, and I'm super excited to share another episode of Soul Love with you, where we share inspirational and empowering stories from the heart. We talk about the beauty and the shadows as both are part of the ascension journey, to remind you that you are powerful, you are magical, and to have trust in what you feel to be true deep within. Enjoy this next episode of Soul Love. Before we start the next Soul Love conversation, I want to invite you to check out my amazing book, Activating the Flower of Love, a sacred guide for manifesting your deepest desires and highest calling. This sacred book, filled with powerful tools and activations, will guide you to open your heart to the beauty and wisdom within you, empowering you to create the life you deeply desire from the foundation of love. You can find Activating the Flower of Love in all the major online and offline bookstores in ebook or paperback, or you can check it out through my website, kimness.nl, where you can also discover the different ways of working with me and the latest updates on new starting programs. Enjoy this next episode of Soul Love. Welcome everyone to a new episode of Soul Love, and today I have the honor and excitement to share a sacred conversation with Sarah Dawkins, and I welcome you within this sacred space.
Thank you, Kim. It's fabulous to be here with you.
It really is, and we already shared a little bit about your book. Like, you have brought out a beautiful book, and also saw it's in Dutch, so it's beautiful. I love how it's multi language and how it's sharing your story out into the world in many ways. But maybe to start this conversation, as you're like, what is your book about, and how did it ignite you on your path to bring this forward and to share with the world your message?
Thank you. My book is about my own healing.
Yes.
And it started out as I had started to recover from depression with suicidal thoughts and underactive thyroid and burned out adrenal glands. And my brain came back online and I was able to think more clearly and rationally. I decided I would write a book about my own healing, what I'd done, plus past health problems, to help other people to see that we can step outside of medicine. Because I'd been a registered nurse for a long time and within that medical model. And here I am now totally changing my beliefs to my body heals me. So I thought this must be able to help more people.
Mm-hmm.
But after 10,000 words, I got really stuck. And then I heard this little voice, who are you anyway? You know, who do you think you are? So I put it away on my computer for 5 years because I just didn't know how to get it out there. And 10,000 words wasn't enough. And then it was all about me. So I'm like, this just doesn't sit right.
Mm-hmm.
And after about 5 years, I woke up one day like, this book has got to be lots of other people as well as me, healing lots of health problems, to show the world that we can heal, not just the things that I've healed, but a whole range of different health problems.
Mm-hmm.
So I reached out on social media and 74 people came back to me to share their story. Well, actually more came back, but they couldn't meet my deadlines.
Yes.
So 74 people wrote their own journeys of what they had and how they healed it and how they are now, to help other people to see that it really is possible. Even when the doctors say you can't heal this, you'll be on medication for your whole life.
Yeah.
We're not. We healed it. And it's all in their authors, the healers, the author's own words as well. Each person's got their own chapter, sharing their own journey with the same aim as me, just to get the information out to the wider world, to see we can step outside that medical model. So that's how it was born. But it took me a little while to get there, until I understood what it was and how it became part of my own journey and path to change my life by changing my beliefs. And then it led me into a whole new trajectory of leaving my job as a registered nurse and training as a health coach to help people on their healing journey and support them with what I'd been through, because a lot of us are so blinkered, if you like, in that medical model. We just see this bit and we're sometimes we're unaware of everything else. So I'm hoping my book will help people to see that we are powerful healers.
Yeah. I love that. But there are so many, I love in your story, like there are so many already beautiful things you shared. And maybe first about your book, because what I love is sometimes we have a vision like I'm creating this, or like you bringing these 10,000 words, but then feeling it's not quite okay, or it's not yet how it wants to be, and just
Yes.
leaving it for a moment. Because most of the time it's our mind that thinks, okay, it needs to go out there now, or it needs to be like we
Yes.
feel the pressure, but you honored this inner guidance. And then in divine time, it unfolded in beautiful ways. And I think for a lot of us, it's also honoring this process of growth, because that's what I noticed with my own book as well. We are growing into becoming that version as well, that is ready to share and that's ready to open up, because those are powerful journeys, but also powerful words you share from your own experience to the world. And there is a certain, like it's almost a growth that needs to happen within us as well to be ready to share that, and for the book as well to evolve. I think it's amazing that so many people step forward to share their voice and their journey. And yeah, and I love, as you shared, I went on my own healing journey as well. So I noticed like the medical model, but I love the holistic approach. So it's not per se only this or only that, but it's really the wide range of it gives us possibilities. And I think like it gives hope and inspiration instead of, okay, this is it and there's nothing possible anymore. And I think when you start to discover the power of our energies, the power of our words, the power of our thoughts, the power of our emotions and our body, and the subtle messages it's giving to us every day, then we can open up in a whole new way. But it's not per se that's only this or that, but it's the totality. And then we approach our healing as a totality, like we have a body and we have emotions and we have, yeah. So I think it's really beautiful, and it's giving options. I think sometimes we can feel so limited in our journey, and yeah. And also, as you shared, like in the beginning, like because it's truly when you have stress, you're in this tunnel vision, you're in fight, flight,
Yeah.
freeze, and we don't have access to all our creative capacity. So we first need to come to this place of rest in ourselves, or just a moment of peace. And then suddenly we open up again and we can have access to the creative parts and all the healing abilities and all the, I think already the awareness. I think in this society, stress is a huge thing. The awareness, when you're in stress, your body goes into to run for the lion. It's not ready to harmonize your system or to regenerate your cells, or to, because it needs to survive from this lion. That's most important. But we need to create these moments of rest for our body to, and then magical things are possible. Or yeah, I think I really love that you bring that forward, because it's such an important key. I don't know how that was for you when you went from that experience in the daily shifts that it took for you to heal in a new way, or yeah.
It was challenging at some points
Yeah.
because healing isn't linear, is it?
No, it's not.
So you have these expectations that I've started this journey and it's just going to go, really
Yeah.
well, and then setbacks happen, and it does knock you back.
Yeah.
But it took me a while to understand that because healing isn't linear, we just have to accept when we're having good days and treasure those moments, but also surrender when
Mm.
we're having not so good days, and understand that sometimes our body needs to rest, and that that's okay, and just come back into ourselves and listen to our body and take that rest, but
Mhm.
surrender to it. Not, oh, I wish I could do that, or what if I did that. No, just come back in and surrender.
Yeah. Because most of the time, there's also, that's what I noticed for me, like a couple of years back, it was also a deep initiation, because I couldn't do a lot anymore at that moment. I was being invited to go within, to listen to my own voice, to listen to my heart. It was for me, and it doesn't mean that it's for everyone, but it was my soul knocking on my door, like, okay, Kim, you keep running and you keep putting the world outside of you as more important than what is happening within. And now it's time for you to remember and to, because there's like for me as well, there's so much more being shared beyond the illness or beyond the discomfort like that we feel. From a human perspective, we can feel this is very uncomfortable or this is very inconvenient because I need to do this and this and this. But
Yeah.
there's wisdom to discover. There is power. There is a message our soul is trying to share with us, and that is really. But again, I love, as you shared as well, it's not linear, because that's what I noticed in my own journey. As we heal, we're also being invited to witness maybe deeper root emotions or traumas or inner child energies that have been stuck for many, many years. And now they're ready to see, but it also means we get to experience. And then we can, from the human again, say it's an off day, but it's not. It's this, yeah.
Yeah. And part of that as well can be when we know better, we do better.
Yes.
So we get that understanding. But what I really learned when I did my coaching was there's an emotional part of us that needs healing.
Mm.
And I didn't see that when I was a nurse. I understood the physical and did all the physical work, and even did some of the mental and the spiritual work, coming, doing gratitude, mindfulness, meditation, and then coming back into myself, listening to that voice. And as I was growing and evolving and learning all these things, I could do more of them. But I didn't know that healing requires us to go in and find that inner trauma, that hurt child within, and heal that. And that is, when I found that was just such a huge part of the healing journey, was healing that inner child and making her feel safe again.
Yeah.
Because it's the child within us that often tells us that they're frightened and need security and safety. And we just assume because we're adults, it's us as an adult that's feeling that.
Yeah.
And we're detached from that inner child within.
Yeah. And I think that's an important awareness to start with. It only needs compassion and love and stillness so it can be seen,
Yeah.
and in that it opens up again. But society, in a way, also has taught us to go for this quick fix, or, okay, if I
Yeah.
only focus on that, then everything will be fine. And in a way, it can work in beautiful ways. But in the end, we are not only our body, we're not only our emotions, we're not only our presence. So much is happening simultaneously. And it's really approaching the totality, again, the holistic approach of everything, because that's in a lot of healing modalities, they only focus on our body or on food
Yes.
or changing your mindset, but in the end we are everything. It's not only one area of our lives, and if we can improve all of that, then things start to shift. But it's really what I love in the title of your book as well, heal yourself. For a lot of people that's only the body, but there's so much more, and it's really our soul or our emotions or our inner child that is giving us a message or a signal, sometimes through our body, like, okay, you are not ready to listen, but now it's time. And I'm,
Yeah.
yeah.
And if we don't listen to those small signals that are coming
Yes.
from our body literally starts to scream, and we can
Yeah.
have pain and autoimmune and so many
Yes.
health problems because our body's screaming out, with these
Yeah.
messages, I need healing. And healing, as you've said, is a holistic approach. We can't just heal in the physical plane. We've
Yes.
got to look at the mental, the spiritual, and the emotional as well. And yet, so many are not ready to go within and heal that past trauma. But the beauty of doing that is once you've healed that, you've absolutely healed it.
Yes.
And you can become aware if you're being triggered, and maybe there's a little part of you that still remains unhealed. But as I say, the beauty of it is healing is healing. So once you've healed that, you then stop it in its tracks, and health comes.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I always like to explain, like in the inner garden. Like I really so resonate with what you share, because, like, for say 10 years ago, I had a burnout, but I was not ready to go to the deeper roots of my traumas. So I only took them out in, like, for say, my inner garden at the top. Okay, I took out the weeds, and my garden looked beautiful again. But
Yes.
still, the roots were there. So the moment I was better again and I felt good, all the old patterns just kept growing again and kept overtaking my inner garden, until a couple of years back my chronic illness arose, and that was the moment where I really was invited to go into the roots. But most of the time that's also the most uncomfortable, but it's also the most expanding, because then we truly change our dynamic, we change our energy field, we change our subconscious field and our beliefs, and so many things are healing. And that's when we truly change our lives, because otherwise it's only neglecting a part of ourselves, and in just
Yeah.
a couple of years it will come back again in a different way, maybe in a different code, maybe a different person or a different experience. But still, in the end, we're here to grow and to expand and to learn more of our purest self, and that will keep calling for us in many different ways until we're ready to listen. So I really love that you bring that forward, because I experienced in my own life as well. Like
Yeah.
almost 10 years back already, I have a powerful signal, but I was not ready. So my body kept giving me signals still, okay, Kim, now it's time and you need to go within, not there. The solution is not there. And I
Yeah.
think that's the message as well. Like, they're beautiful tools, and please, everyone, tune in to what aligns for you, and listen to your doctor and listen to what it resonates. But it sometimes can only be just one word that resonates with you, and follow that and see what it unfolds. And it doesn't mean that you need to shut the door for one thing. Like, be open to everything, because I think that's also the new way. It's like before, also in spiritual teachings, like we would follow one stream of energy or one stream of consciousness, and that was it. No, we are our own unique blend of everything, and it's feeling like, okay, this thing resonates from this, and this thing's, my soul gets excited of that, and it's following that, because that's also healing. I think for
Yes.
you, like relearning what brings us joy instead of being in the just the rat race of life, and relearning what excites us and what expands our field. And yeah.
Yeah, because often we quash that to
Yes.
please other people.
Yeah.
So we become somebody that we're not authentically to
Yeah.
fit in with a crowd or to please people.
Mm.
And part of healing is understanding who that persona is that we become to please others, and
Mm.
allowing that to fall away and heal that need to please others,
Mm.
come back into ourselves, and as you say, understand what we like to do, what brings us joy, what lights us up, because that is truly nourishing our soul. And in doing so, it's all part of the healing process, and we become more authentic. And
Yeah.
then that resonance attracts other people who are at that same level, so we can make deeper and more meaningful relationships with other people. And that's just truly beautiful.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it brings a richness to our lives, or yeah, a totally new layer of being present and being in connection with others. And yeah, but how was it for you? Like since your book got published, and also for like what happened in your field and in your life when it got out there, and people started to respond to the teachings and to the
Oh, I've had some wonderful feedback from it.
yeah.
People have written reviews on Amazon, but people have also got in touch with me. And not long after I'd published it, one lady actually found it in a local bar.
Oh
Somebody
well.
had bought my book and then left it behind, and she started to read it.
Mm.
And she said, oh, she had this massive awakening about her childhood and how that was impacting her now. And she said, I have never understood this before, but through your book, I now understand what's going on in my life, in my health,
Mm.
because of what I went through. So it's just opened so many doors that I can walk through now. And that was just amazing to hear. And that is the true purpose of my book, because we're all sharing our healing. And in the main, people have done similar things, but there's so many different things out there as well. And I
Yeah.
think that helps people to see that there's so many different ways they can look at healing, and so many different modalities that they can tap into to support their body and mind and spirit, and help them on their own healing journey.
I love that. Yeah. And it's again the freedom, or the openness, like there's more to life than just the common, or I love that. And it's so important. That's also like for this podcast as well. Like we're all on this journey, and it doesn't mean that life will always, like when you're on this path of rediscovering who you are, it doesn't mean life will always be easy or life will always be bliss or joy. No, sometimes we need to go through deep layers in ourselves to awaken a deeper part of our truth and of our light. But I think it's so important that we start to share, like we're doing now, but everyone, like, share your story. And even if it inspires one beautiful soul, that's really amazing. I get goosebumps everywhere, but it expands your field. And then we get to empower like each other, because it's really through sharing our authentic voice that you get to be inspired, or you see suddenly options you never saw before, or it opens up. And I think that's what the world needs, that it's not like, okay, we are on this train and we just keep on going. No, there are so many more options. And but it starts, but because I think that's beautiful as well in your book, that it are stories of people that went through it. Because sometimes we can hear a story or we can read a book and it's only knowledge, but now it are true embodied experiences, and then suddenly we see the possibilities, instead of, okay, this is just a fictional idea, or this is a concept I need to work through, or this is a vision I hold. No, it's really like a tangible thing. It's like when world records are broken, suddenly more people are able to reach that world record. But it's that one soul that believed and that had that vision. And but then more and more it opens up. And I think it's the same with this. When you read those stories, it will inspire you to, okay, there's more to life. Or yeah.
Yeah, and it was a quote by Joe Dispenza that kind of made me start thinking about my book as well. Something along the lines of, to change your belief that something is impossible,
Yeah.
You only have to see or hear one person doing what you believed was
Yes.
impossible,
Yeah.
to be able to open you up to more. And I've tried to get at least 2 of most health problems, so that people can't go, well, it's just one person, it's just a fluke. Well, no, I think I've got 4 people healing MS, 2 people healing motor neurone, or ALS as it's called in America. So
Yeah.
I'm showing more people doing the same healing, some in slightly different ways, but nonetheless they're healing.
Yeah.
And the biggest theme running through my book is that all the people believed they could heal like I did,
Yes.
and they went on and healed.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love that. And it's also, but it's not to say that this is this, but also if you see studies going to placebo effects or all of that, like it starts with believing the placebo effect as well. It's a belief
Absolutely.
that this thing will work, and then it, because I think a lot of, like, it doesn't matter whether it's the medical system or a spiritual healing or whatever, but if you have a disbelief about that technique, it will not work, because then there is it's really understanding the power we hold when we truly believe in something,
Yeah.
whether it's the medical system or whether, but it's following that belief within you, because that's part of your path, and that opens up beautiful things and expands. I think that's really, yeah, and it's truly through hearing stories, because our mind is very powerful and our mind really likes to trick us. So if we don't have proof for our mind, it will think, okay, this is just a
Yes.
fairy tale, or like. So I really love you sharing that there are multiple stories and multiple experiences, and because then it's really like, okay, it's truly possible, and suddenly our mind has proof, and then we start to believe and we start to feel the possibilities, and that already opens our field. Instead of staying in stress and the limitations, we suddenly see possibilities, whatever that is for us. But yeah.
And somebody said to me, well, what if the healing's just a placebo effect? Well, what if it is
Yes. Yeah.
healing? They've healed.
Yeah, it
You know,
is.
they
Yeah.
believe they could
Yeah.
heal. And
Yeah.
if it's just their pure belief alone that's helped them to heal with the placebo effect, then great. They've
Yes.
still healed.
Yeah.
Do you get that?
Yeah.
And it really comes down to belief. If you believe you can, you really can.
Yeah.
And if you believe you can't, or there's problems in the way, or you believe you're different, or your disease can't be healed, or you're never going to heal if you maintain that belief.
Mm.
And that's why it was quite profound when somebody questioned me as a nurse and my use of home pharmaceuticals. Like, wow, why would she do that? And that, with the research, after she questioned me back in 2005, I went
Mhm.
away and started doing some research, which led me to believe and see that our bodies can heal. But that would have never have happened if somebody hadn't challenged my
Yes.
beliefs.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, because
and
then the fire becomes more and we feel like, okay, yeah, I love that. Yeah.
yeah, and it can make us feel uncomfortable when somebody challenges your belief, because 95% of the time we're running on autopilot and we have
Yes.
no idea what our beliefs are
Yeah.
until somebody challenges it and we're triggered, and then we go, oh, what's behind that? Or start to do some research to become more open-minded about the potential. And if
Yes.
we can do that, we're opening ourselves up to so much more.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. And it's really challenging our beliefs, and don't like, uh, don't find it, yeah, I don't know the English word, but if you get triggered, that's beautiful, because it means like a root out of your inner garden is rising up for you to be seen instead of holding you back. No, it's really an invitation to see, like, okay, what is happening and what is this saying about me? And what I love about, because heal yourself, also, it starts with self-love. Because as
Yeah.
you shared, like, do I find myself worthy enough to be healed? Do I find myself worthy enough to live a joyful life? Do I find myself worthy enough for my body to be healthy? Or are there so many limiting beliefs about I don't deserve it, or I'm never good enough, or like I'm disconnected from my body? Because there's also most of the time a lot of disconnection. We distantiate ourselves from this vessel that is with us our whole lives, or we blame and shame it because it doesn't look like society's ideal, or but that also creates a lot of patterns. So it starts with loving ourselves enough to feel like, okay, yes, I'm worthy of magic. I'm worthy of being healthy. I'm worthy of living a life that I love, instead of just like, yeah. And there are a lot of shifts, like so many things are underneath that. But I think it's really beautiful that you bring that forward. Yeah.
Yeah, and compassion as well. Compassion for yourself with that self-love. But I think as we heal,
Yeah.
And we learn that compassion for self, it actually helps us to evolve and learn more compassion for others,
Mm.
in a similar space, or even for what people are going through. We can share that compassion.
Yeah, it is, because we never know, like that's what I love about these conversations, but just in general, like sometimes from the outside world, it may look beautiful and magical, and but everyone is going through their own challenges. And especially now as Mother Earth as well is ascending, and you can see it even in the Schumann resonance, it's having spikes. It activates within us our slowest vibrations, but it's not to hold us back, but it's to an invitation to heal. It's an invitation to expand. It is an invitation to rise. But that is challenging for everyone, even people that are not on the spiritual path, but in the end, it's about the journey of coming home to yourself. They also get influenced in that. And it's really with compassion and love that we get to see, like, okay, someone is just responding from a trigger, or it is an invitation within me to see, like, okay, what deeper part of me wants healing or love or acknowledgement, or yeah. And I really love as well as you bring in Joe Dispenza. I read a lot of his work as well a couple of years back, but I really love his story as well. Like he's showing the impossible. He had his back totally, and in meditation, he just healed it with 3 months. Not per se just a short morning, like full-time meditation, but he changed like the physicality of his bones and his structures by the mind, by meditation, by being in the energy and seeing that it's healed. And I really love all of these videos he has created back then and all of these, but it's really empowering and it gives hope. I think that we just need, that was in my journey as well. The moments of my deepest darkness, there was just this one light seed, but this one light seed was enough to give me hope and to open up this whole healing journey where indeed for the doctors, I would always stay there. Now I'm more healthy than ever before. But it was this, sometimes it's also honoring, like even if it's a very tiny hope or inspiration, follow that. And as you commit to that, it opens up more. And suddenly you see beautiful books, beautiful people, just a word that resonates with you that you feel, yeah, okay, this is for me, or yeah, and it's opening up that. But again, that comes back to self-love, that I'm worthy to follow this little hope instead of the whole field of impossibilities that is against that. And
It does. It does. And I think because when we extrapolate depression, we find deep rest.
Mhm.
And it's an invitation to come back, as you've said, into ourselves, and take that time to rest our physical body and our mind, and to take that time to go inwards. But I think we don't appreciate the light as much until we've gone through those really dark times, and then we can see the light for what it is, and even the tiniest spark gives us that hope to keep moving forwards, knowing that there is something else outside.
Yeah, just like the beautiful lady that found your book. Like for her, this was this tiny seed that opened her possibilities to there's more, there's hope, there is. And just out of, I love that in books as well. That's what I love about physical books. Like people can leave them somewhere and suddenly it just finds someone, or like like it's beautiful. So it's planting seeds of inspiration and healing. And it's really beautiful that you're bringing that forward. And what is in your journey now very significant that you know it's like, okay, this is my invitation to expand into, or this is what I use to just, yeah, be on this path right now?
So I'm moving forwards in my life now, and I'm seeing myself more talking from a stage or a platform to
Yeah,
reach more people.
yeah,
And I was also invited a month ago by a lady that I know on the internet, but I've never met, to hold a holistic healing retreat here in Spain. And
right.
I've got a friend, a Spanish friend, who has converted an old bodega into an Airbnb that she rents out. So between the three of us, we're
Yes.
co-creating this holistic healing retreat that's quite spiritual as well because of the building it's in,
That,
and the nature. We all three get on so well together.
that's amazing.
So I see me still doing some coaching, but moving into group coaching and speaking and holding retreats.
Yeah, I love that. And again, it's like I share a lot about that in this podcast as well. Like it's you followed this tiny seed of inspiration that resulted in you having this beautiful book and then inviting others to share their story. And now it's spreading its around the world. But I love as she, like, sometimes it's honoring this first inspiration that we feel, and it opens up so many beautiful doors we wouldn't even thought was possible years back. But it's again, you finding yourself worthy enough to share your story, you overcoming, like, because that's also for me, like, you overcoming the limiting belief, like, who am I to share this, or what am, like, and then being brave enough to step out of that and share your story and your voice. And so it's really, really beautiful. I honor you for that. And I would say to everyone, if you want to find out more how you can work with her, you can find all the information below the video or audio, and the links and the connection to your book. So I really, I thank you. If there was one thing you would like to share with everyone as like a closing inspiration, or something you would like to share?
Become conscious of your beliefs. I mean, stress is very debilitating and causes illness. But I think if we can understand our beliefs and know where their origins lie, because more often than not, they were formed before we were 7, as we just literally took our whole world in and stored it in our subconscious mind with the emotions that were around at the time. And that runs us on autopilot for 95% of our life. So if we can become conscious of that, understand your beliefs, and look at your triggers as lessons to open you up to more healing. What is it that triggered you about that? Was it something they said or did? Have you felt that before? Where has it come from? What emotions are there? And just unpick it and see, does that belief really serve you now? Or do you need to change it? Can you challenge it? Is it really true? Is it factual? Or is it just a belief, in open air quotes, that you've taken on board and owned as your own? Because our beliefs are our parents, really. We borrow them until we become more conscious of them and challenge them and change them and make them ours, and they make us who we are because they run our lives. So if you can become conscious of them, challenge what no longer serves you, and change them so it becomes more aligned with who you are authentically, that is a huge part of healing. So find that belief.
Yes, I think that's really a beautiful message. And also the understanding, like, a lot of patterns are created in the first initial years of our lives. And sometimes we can try to do coaching or healing in things that are happening now. But again, the root is really somewhere else, and it's going deeper within, and coming back to this place of compassion and love to really witness those elements. So I think that's really such a beautiful message and a beautiful awareness. And I would say, for everyone, check out your book I think it's on Amazon and also other platforms. So
it's the English version is available, excuse me, in Barnes and Noble in America.
Okay,
thank you.
that's beautiful. Yes, that's beautiful. So I want to thank you for sharing your stories, sharing your light, and everyone tuning in as well, for your unique contribution for this earth and who you are. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the next Soul Love podcast. So for now, much love, an amazing day, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. Bye. Thank you for joining this episode of Soul Love. If you want to find out more about what we do, you can find it below. And I'll see you in the next episode. Much love.